And nobody had the sense to say, wait 1 second, this doesn't match up with the truth. This is not what I was taught in college. This is not what I was taught at home, etc., etc.
Pull your pants up, black people. I was on TV in the 80s. I can talk down to you because I had a successful sitcom. Yeah, it was great women, Bill Cosby, so kind of brings it down a couple notches.
One goal, one thing, one rule, man, that shit don't change. And it's certain real niggas do real fucking thing.
Cosby got out, and Phylicia Rashad is under fire for supporting him.
Okay.
Of course she is. Of course she's on fire.
I heard.
Wasn't we just big upping her for getting her spot at
Howard?
Howard?
We were. That just only further proves that two things could be true at once. Like, I was talking to somebody, and this is funny. I was talking to somebody in my DMs who's just giving me information about it, so I can't say who they are. But they were saying that dude, like, not just her, but a lot of like women of that prestige who have seen these men do fucked up things, but they be having blind spots because that be their friends and shit. So it's like, on one end, yes, she is highly respected, and you know what I mean, yes, let's love her for all the reasons that we love her, but that don't mean that she doesn't have a blind spot or can't be wrong about a particular thing. She was damn near best friends with this man for like decades and shit. She don't want to see that. She don't want to see that. And of course, he ain't gonna try her. You hear me? He pulled that shit on most of the women. If you look at the type of women Cosby was pulling that shit on, it was up and coming wannabe actresses. It was little model types. It was wannabe secretaries. He ain't shoot for the stars. He knew like I ain't about to come here with my coworkers like that. So I can fully believe that she probably either don't want to see the shit or probably literally didn't see the shit, and she just like, well, I'm gonna just stick with my friend.
At no time did you ever see anything inappropriate?
What I saw was fun. Never anything inappropriate. What I saw was work and play at work and fun. Mrs. Cosby was a frequent visitor to the studio. She was there a lot. That's what I saw.
Forget these women. What you're seeing is the destruction of a legacy, and I think it's orchestrated. I don't know why or who's doing it, but it's the legacy.
That was a misquote. And that is not what I said. What I said is, this is not about the women. This is about something else. This is about the obliteration of legacy.
But my nigga, like, that don't mean people ain't gonna disagree. Now, I don't believe that she should be under fire, quote unquote, but that don't mean that we can't tell Miss Rashad, who I love Miss Phylicia Rashad, I often big her up, that maybe you just couldn't have said nothing, ma'am. That probably would have just been a bit. You could have thought however you want to feel in your heart.
Write him a hand letter and make sure it burns. Send him one of them Mission Impossible letters where this message will explode. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No record of it.
You have the right to your opinion, and I have the right to mine. So let's keep it like that. All right. Mr. Cosby should have been the person to make the statement and apologize to the people that he hurt. That would have been a wonderful thing to do if you got out of prison on a get out of jail pass. That's all I gotta say.
We didn't need to, nobody else needed to know about it.
So let me ask a problematic question.
Uh-oh.
Is there space to feel?
That's when we all grabbed our drinks.
Hey, let me make sure I clear my throat, cleanse my palate.
About to go with it.
He about to ask a real one.
Is there space for us to celebrate the equality that we just saw? And I mean that by this. White folk forever, old white nasty men forever, have gotten off of prison sentences for this exact same reason that Bill got off. So is there a space for us to, let's call it cynically, laugh at this form of equality that they just showed us? Because Bill Cosby did what he did, and he said he did what he did, and he's a monster and should have stayed in jail, but he's not in jail anymore. And we don't have to agree with him being in jail anymore or not being in jail anymore. But is there space for us to celebrate that equality?
In a very dark and twisted way,
Yeah, we want to walk on the wild side.
Right. Like you want to go to the shadow realm. Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough. It's a technicality, but people like Phylicia Rashad, his on-screen wife, were celebrating it, and so there are people on Twitter who are celebrating it. Do you think this is something to celebrate in general?
I think it's something that he should celebrate.
Right. Right.
Good answer. Are you going to go into politics? That was really smooth.
I'm saying, like, if I'm putting myself in everybody's shoes, then
I appreciate that.
He should be celebrated.
She's taken some heat because she was saying it was like a miscarriage of justice, but now she's kind of walking it back, saying we should still support victims who want to come forward and things like that. Do you feel like people are being a little too hard on her about it, or do you think that's...
I think that's one of those politically correct gray areas that, where do you stand? Where do you feel? So I think that if the judicial system released him, he's free to go. That's how it goes.
I mean, I see exactly what you mean. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, and it's a hilarious question.
It's a crazy paradox.
Yeah, it's a crazy paradox. But I'm just not even gonna touch it.
Okay, I thought you were.
No.
Cause I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll touch it after he touches it. But
no, I would touch it after you touch it. Yeah, you touch it, boy.
You touch it first.
So nobody.
I'm gonna touch it.
You gonna touch it? Oh,
I'm about to say. So
I'm ready to touch it, but
nobody gonna be Nemo and touch the.
No, I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna touch this motherfucker. But I wasn't. What you saying, buddy? Before I touch this thing,
I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah. You know what? I fold.
He should do one show where he just come out and just talk crazy now.
I would like to talk to some of the people who feel that I should give back my trophies. Just because you may have heard recently that I allegedly put the pill in the people's chocolate. I wish somebody would come up to my house talking about give up the trophy because you put the pill in the people's chocolate. You get no.
Take my card.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this, dog.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, I understand the train of thought. I understand the train of thought. But there's certain things that no matter black, white, or Asian, blue, Hispanic, that I don't feel like we should ever celebrate someone getting away with. If this was a motherfucker getting away with like a weed charge, a drug charge,
tax evasion,
you know what I'm saying? Oh, especially if it was tax evasion. You know, if this was something that, like, you know what I mean, notoriously we got niggas sitting in jail and they
white collar shit.
Yeah, that they shouldn't for real. They didn't harm anyone. They shouldn't be in jail for. Their white counterpart is literally not in jail for. Then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna applaud that. But anything like rape. Nah, I don't care who you are. I cannot applaud you getting, because that's the thing too. Bill Cosby. That's another thing too. Even if I was going my darkest element and it was like, because you know some people are like, well, he just was raping white women. I don't want to see white women. I don't want to see any women get raped. But that's the thing too. It was black women too. Just like they say with R. Kelly. Like our problem with R. Kelly is this: we let R. Kelly get away with touching a bunch of black girls for decades. Not us, our generation had no power, but like, you know what I mean. Society let him get away with harming black girls for decades. That's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Our disregard for black girls.
A Georgetown law study, Girl Interrupted, found that compared to white girls, black girls from ages 5 to 14 were perceived to need less protection, need to be supported less, need to be comforted less, are more independent, and know more about sex. This study alone proves that black girls aren't looked at as girls at all.
It's painful to watch black women not be included in this popular narrative. It's painful to see people preface the pain of other people over ours and not give any credence to the trauma, the layers of trauma that happen in our community.
Burke says that there is an internalized oppression in the black community. This oppression has caused black people to protect black male predators because the community values them. We're so used to seeing black men oppressed by the state and forces of systemic racism that we can't help but wonder, would we be doing the same?
This decision becomes like, you know, do I protect the name and good the legacy of this black person versus the people who they harmed. And that's a struggle we've had around for a long time.
So, like, in general, it's like, wow, I fully understand that because this is the real conversation. A black man beating the system is something that black people, regardless, always has just, even if you don't want to say it out loud, the smallest tinge of warmth about, like, black men beat the system.
That's what your ass get.
Black men beat the system. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a piece of you always, because notoriously, we all know the history of the context. So, anytime we could get a morsel of one of us beating the system, I get it.
And I think that's the very nature of the question that he asked too.
Yeah, no, because I know where your heart at. Peanut ain't saying let rapists go free. You know what I'm saying? I know where you're coming from. So I said I get the train of thought, but like what I'm gonna still land on it is nuanced. There's just certain topics that we can't ever celebrate anybody getting away with, and that's why I just leave that.
I dig it.
We are literally in a moment where Russell Simmons has 18 credible allegations against him that range from sexual harassment to sexual assault. Nobody has labeled him a predator. Nobody said he's ravishing the community. Nobody's talked about that. And he hasn't been accountable for it either. It's not new to Bill Cosby or R. Kelly or anybody else.
That's what I was gonna say. It all the celebration gets taken away with what?
The context.
Yeah.
It's the context.
I think it's always
because that's the thing too, son. Like there's certain shit though. Like I'm a dark person. There's certain shit that I am for a motherfucker getting away with, and somebody else might be like Martin, and I'm like, well.
One goal, one thing, one rule, man, that shit don't change. And it's real niggas do real fucking things.